as you know, I will confess right off the bat, I am a geothermal, nut job. I really like it. I think it's an amazing technology. I think we're just beginning to see the industry blossom. And I think as we move forward, more and more homes are going to be taking geothermal into account, thinking about it. I'm here with Ron. Ron's going to kind of lead us through this. We actually picked this as one of the most innovative must-see products at the show. And the reason I did is because there seems like there's been a major advancement in the base, geothermal unit in a home. One, you have an incredibly sophisticated, control system here, which generally was missing from kind of older geothermal units. Right. This unit is flexible, meaning you can do kind of forced air, you can do hydronic, you can do cooling and domestic hot water all in one system. And then you also have some high technology here of variable speed pumps and stuff, so it's not always running at max capacity and you're gaining some efficiencies there. So tell us about the unit, tell us about why everybody should be paying attention to it and what kind of technology is in it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tim. You're right. Exactly. It's a very flexible machine. So we have a heating, cooling, and domestic hot water machine that is variable in capacity, which means that when this machine starts up, it's looking at the load of the home, how much energy is the home going to need, and it's modulating its pumping capacity and its output capacity, much like cruise control in a car.
Well, it's also kind of like the HVAC systems when we got the variable pumps and HVAC systems, 15 years ago or whatever that was, right? It used to be on-off, and then they realized, no, it's not on-off. It's like, let's actually modulate the pump, right, to the load and actually optimize that. And now you've brought that to geothermal as well.
Exactly.
Now, you talked about cooling. That's a whole new twist on this deal. So in a lot of applications, geothermal and hydronics, kind of inflow or baseboard heating, you're not going to be running the cooling through the floor or the baseboards, though, are you?
Well, not typically. There are places or markets where in-floor radiant cooling can work.
But you got to be careful about humidity levels, right?
Absolutely. So more commonly, we're going to have an air handler, a hydronic air handler, and we're going to run 42-degree water from this machine through a hydronic coil with a blower. So that's going to take care of both your cooling and your dehumidification of a space.
So, kind of simplifying it a little bit for me, it's almost like having, in a way, a mini split, where you kind of take in, the kind of head unit of a mini split and putting it somewhere in the home, and you're supplying then chilled water from here to that unit?
An option.
Okay.
It's an option. We can use a mini split or a cassette head if you will.
Yeah.
Or we can use a centralized air handler that would go to a duct system.
So if you had that in your whole home, right?
So if we have a whole home now that has a centralized system, we can pair a larger air handler to that centralized system. So it's a good retrofit opportunity.
So as a new build, from a builder perspective, you might actually put in a full, duct system, the whole bit and everything else, but in a retrofit, if I got hydronic, I don't have ducts, I don't have any of that stuff, but I could use potentially some of these head units and still now provide air conditioning when I've never had it before. And with climate change, that's actually becoming a serious issue for a bunch of areas where air conditioning was just never seen before. And we're starting to see more and more homes actually demand air conditioning for those few peak months where it just gets a lot hotter than it ever used to.
Absolutely, and you can put that cooling where you most need it. So for example, if you wanted to have it in your primary bedroom suite or maybe in its main living area, but you don't want to cool the whole house, you just want to be comfortable.
Yeah, but maybe you do a couple bedrooms upstairs and it'll drift down anyway and it cools the bottom so you're comfortable when you're sleeping. Now this whole controller over here that you've got, I also hear that it's remotely available, so there's some remote diagnostic capability, is that right?
It is. So our contractors have the ability to view this machine and make technical changes to the machine to optimize its performance all over the web. So this machine can either use Wi-Fi or it can be plugged into an Ethernet connection in the home, and then the homeowner grants their contractor permission to see and make adjustments.
So you got
to still in control.
It's almost like a Tesla, man. You're doing like over the wire up, software updates and controls and repairs and all that kind of stuff now with your boiler unit. That's really cool. So this is the kind of technology you see at IBS. We're here with Enertech. If you have any interest in geothermal, you need to talk to these guys and figure out whether or not geothermal is in your future.